It's Friday, June 2nd. It's June already,
Damn.
2017.
Summer's here.
It's hot outside in New York, finally. My name is Sam Sheffer. This is Ray Wong.
Hello.
You're watching Technically Speaking. Monday's coming up. Monday is Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. I'm going, and I wanted to bring Ray on the show today to give a preview of WWDC. It's Apple's, again, Worldwide Developers Conference. They've been doing this for over 20 years. They're returning to San Jose for the first time in a while. And what also feels like the first time in a while is that nothing's really leaked that much. In years past, it feels like usually a couple days before the event.
We still have a couple of days.
That's true.
Have a couple of days.
That's true. 9 to 5 Mac is always like boom, boom, boom. And now that Gurman is at Bloomberg, we might see a leak from Bloomberg. But so far, to me, as someone who's been following iOS since its inception, feels like we know nothing. But I want to start with the poll. Michelle, bring it up on the screen. Today's poll: are you going to install iOS 11 beta? I have done the beta, I think, every single year on my main device. I usually kick myself in like month 1 or 2 because they release the betas it's like a week or 2 after WWDC happens, and then the Gold Master, usually the final version, usually hits when the iPhone launches, which in years past has been September. So basically like June, July, and August, and half of September, I, along with hundreds of thousands of other enthusiasts, will install the beta version of iOS. And again, it's usually really buggy because it's in beta, but I love seeing the progression of all of like the UI element tweaks. I remember when it was iOS 7, there was like a downward arrow in the beginning. Like
this is the developer beta, not the
developer beta. There was like all these different elements on the lock screen. They changed the font size and that kind of thing.
Yeah, iOS 7, they definitely had a lot of
that was probably one of the worst betas when they changed the entire UI. So yeah, are you going to install iOS 11 beta? Let me know, and let me know if you're excited, because I certainly am. So this episode of Technically Speaking, again, I have Ray here. We want to do a preview of WWDC. Every year, Apple does a developers conference in June, and they talk about their 4 operating systems: the mobile operating system, iOS, TV OS for the Apple TV, Mac OS for the desktop, and WatchOS for the Apple Watch.
I think we also hopefully, you might hear some more about CarPlay. I feel like they kind of left that on the side.
Here's a question, though, Ray. Do you know anyone that's like, yeah, I bought my Ford Focus or my Toyota Highlander, and I'm loving no one?
No, but like, there's also
it exists.
Right? I mean, there's also a lot of, last probably like 10 months, with the whole Apple self-driving car project, they shifted from like
Project Titan
hardware to software. So hopefully we'll see something from there.
But it feels like CarPlay is something that has been a little bit downplayed, kind of.
I mean,
a little bit.
I think that's because of the AI. It's powered mostly by Siri. It's dependent on Siri. So if Siri has a bigger presence at WW this year, then I think we might see something from that.
So let's kind of break this down a little bit. So the last time, let's talk about the hardware first, because this is pretty exciting to me. The last time we saw hardware, and I was talking to Pete about this, the last time we saw hardware at WWDC was in 2012 when Apple announced the original Retina MacBook Pro, the 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro. Are we going to see hardware at WWDC this year?
So, if you've been following our website and following all the rumors, yes, hopefully we will. So the number one thing that we are hearing is the Siri speaker.
What is this Siri speaker?
Siri speaker is basically Apple's version of the Amazon Echo.
Or the Google Home. Or was the Amazon Echo Show?
Show. We don't know if it's going to have a display.
Wasn't there an Apple executive that was like, if there's no display on it, you've done it wrong, right?
I think Phil Schiller said that. Yeah, he was like, the screen is still very important.
I agree.
And, it's important because, there are times where you want to display like maps or visual information or photos.
Some sort of contextual
right.
information. There's one thing with like the voice and then the lights.
Right.
You know, like the Google Home has those dots.
But it'll be interesting to see how they make that happen without making it look like the
another
show,
new
which is,
Apple product.
Yeah.
Like the last new Apple product we had was the AirPods technically, and before that was the Apple Watch. But what I'm interested to see is if they're gonna fix Siri. I'll say it. Siri is bad.
It's bad.
It's so bad. I was watching Brian Tong's the Apple Byte preview for Dub, and I didn't know this, but you can't have more than one active timer on. You can't have Siri. So let's say you're baking muffins and you're like, okay, we need to set a timer for this. Oh, and then set a second timer for this. Siri can't do it. There's so many things that Siri can't do. It launched in beta. So Apple in, I think it was 2011 bought a company called SRI that had a product, an app in the App Store called Siri. And then when the next operating system, I think it was iOS 4 or 4, no, S, because S is for
4S,
Siri. They baked it into the OS and they were like, it's in beta, and it still feels like it's in beta. Google Assistant.
It's definitely got a lot more intelligent over the last couple of years. They don't ever talk about Siri when they update. It's kind of like update on the back end. Like you'll notice that her voice is better. It's more human-like. She's smarter sometimes. Like it's gotten progressively better. It's just very like
it just feels gradual. So much worse than the competing
for sure
assistants. Will we see a real update to Siri, do you think, if they're going to do
I
this
think
hardware
so. I think they have
speaker?
to, because this year is like all about AI. You know, Google's betting everything on AI, the assistant. Amazon's going all in with Alexa, and also Microsoft is also doing a lot of interesting AI stuff with Cortana.
So Siri speaker, we have no idea what it's going to look like. Apparently, it'll be look something like the trash can Mac Pro.
So what we've heard from Sonny Dixon is that it's going to look something like the UE, was that UE Boom or whatever?
Okay. The Roll or the Boom?
The Boom, the tube one.
The tube one.
Yeah, it's supposed to have like a mesh-like exterior.
Interesting.
And
multiple colors?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would bet black and white for sure, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to have some kind of Beats wireless technology, whatever that is.
That makes sense. Oh, it would be interesting if that had the W1 chip in it, and then it can connect to.
It's most likely
iOS.
gonna.
Yeah, probably have
I think so.
What do you think it's gonna cost?
Okay, let's see. An Echo costs what, $150 or something like that.
Yeah, let me see.
Google Home I think is like $130. Last I checked, Echo was $180 because there was a $50 difference.
So the Echo Dot is $50.
Right, the Echo Dot, we don't care about that one.
The Echo
that one has
is
shitty
$180.
$180. Okay. Yeah. Google Home is $130. I think Apple's going to go for like maybe $200, $250. If it's any more than that, then it's going to end up just like, what was that? Remember the iPod speaker? A giant speaker?
The
hi-fi.
Yeah,
that was just ridiculous, you know?
I mean, it's so tough to call Apple prices, like to nail down what they're going to price this thing at.
It's always going to have a premium.
My hunch is going to be $299.
That's a lot.
I know it's a lot. I'm probably going to be. I hope I'm wrong because I'm going to want to buy one.
I'd only buy one if like Siri has like new brains, new smarts, and it just blows me away because I know how bad. Like you know how bad Siri is. Yeah. Why would you pay for that?
Yeah. If it's only running Siri, it would, and it's the old version of Siri. I could see Apple coming out and being like, we completely rebuilt Siri. We did this, and this, and now it's great. All right, so
we'll see.
Hardware number one, a possible Siri speaker. Right. What do you think it's going to be called?
I think Siri speaker.
Siri speaker.
Yeah, I think so.
Not like Apple Home. I mean, Google Home already exists.
Just stop doing that. Everyone's got a home. Andy Rubin just announced Essential Home.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. So
it's too confusing. Okay, what do you think?
Maybe they just call it Siri.
Damn.
That would be nuts if they're just like, we called it
I don't know.
Siri.
Apple's been naming their stuff really terribly lately. Like Touch Bar, Force Touch, 3D Touch. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know, man.
I'm regardless, though, I'm pumped to see a new Apple product. Okay. And at WWDC, again, it'll be 5 years since they've done a hardware product.
I think they're also going to refresh MacBooks.
Yep, with Kaby Lake, right? With Intel's Kaby Lake. So right now, the current generation MacBook Pro, the one with the Touch Bar, apparently is not that great. I don't own one. I know people that do. Apparently that laptop is not great.
if we go back to a couple of months ago when Apple kind of like apologized for the Mac Pro, they're going to court developers again here at a developer conference, and they're going to try to make it right, you know?
Are they going to change the body, though, or they're just going to change the internals?
Well, I mean, MacBook or MacBook Pro?
Okay, so you're right.
The MacBook is due for a refresh.
The single port MacBook, the one that's like super
That one's due
small.
for a refresh.
Right.
I don't think they're going to add a second USB-C port to that one. Why? Mainly because they have the entry-level MacBook Pro, the 13-inch. That one has 2 ports, 2 USB ports, and the Touch Bar has 4 USB-C ports. So it doesn't make sense. I just don't see them adding it. As much as I would like that, they're probably not going to do that.
Do you think they're going to kill the Air?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see the MacBook kind of transition to Air prices.
Because the disparity between the screen resolution of the Air and the new Mac it's astounding.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, I use a MacBook Air. I've been using it for like a couple years. I have a MacBook Pro at home, and
this is a great machine.
This is a great machine, especially for students, you know.
But you're right. If
$1,000.
If they price that new MacBook at $999.
If they do it, then I think
what does
the
that
Air's
start
dead.
at right now? Let me see.
MacBook Air?
No, the regular MacBook.
Like $1,299, I think.
It's just
is it $1,299?
It's just underpowered. Let's see. I'm looking it up right now. Come on, computer. Really? The slowest intro screen for this computer. Available in silver, gold. Yeah, this one.
Jeez.
Where's the... Wow, that was the slowest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's your own fault for using Safari.
Wow. Call me out. All right, silver, 256 gigs.
$1,299. Yeah,
this thing should be 1.1 gigahertz and 8 gigs of RAM. Okay.
No.
This thing should, I mean, Intel Core M3. Doesn't even have the i-series processors.
Yeah. I mean, that's good enough to do like basic web browsing, watching videos, and honestly, you can edit a little bit of 4K video on there with iMovie.
But Apple can get super aggressive because you saw they have the Surface laptop now, right? And now Chromebooks are also killing it. I would love to see Apple go $999 for this has to be a better processor. But if they can bring this regular MacBook down to $999, it is going to be a killer laptop for the price.
It would, but I bet you they're going to start at $1099. $1099.
Friendly bet. We'll see.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so they're going to bump. Hopefully, they're going to bump specs of this MacBook. Will we see an update to the MacBook Pros?
I think so. I think that might be a very light refresh. So internal refreshes for the processors and 32 gigabytes of RAM. That is the biggest thing that developers want and pros want, and I think that they will add that at least to the 15-inch. I don't know about the 13-inch, but at least to the 15-inch.
I really hope so. Let me just see, just for fun really quick, MacBook Pro. It says new on here. I don't know why. Let's see. Buy. I'm just going to quickly spec out. So if I want a 15-inch and I want a 2.7 gigahertz, jeez, it's so expensive. 2.7 gigahertz. It's not even KB, not the current generation. 16 gigs of RAM, $2,800.
That's a lot of money.
That is expensive as hell. This $2,800, you should get 32 gigs of RAM. And you should, look, I'm going to say it, you should get, and can you even update to a terabyte? But you should get a terabyte hard drive, or SSD.
I mean, I want to see 32 gigabytes of RAM, kind of as one of the default configs.
Same.
But I think they might add it as an add-on, they always upcharge you for this.
So
just having the option.
KB Lake, 1 terabyte SSD, 32 gigs of RAM, that laptop's going to be over $3,000.
It's going to be $4,000.
Probably $4,000.
Yeah, I think so.
So, all right, so for hardware, Siri speaker, most likely. MacBook regular, we'll probably see some sort of refresh. And the MacBook Pro, we'll probably see some sort of refresh. iPhones, iPhone preview, Mac Pro preview, iMac, anything.
iMac, I mean, I think iMac's got to be updated. It's been too long. Maybe a new, was it Apple TV? No iPhone preview for sure.
Yeah, no way.
No way.
But it wouldn't surprise. I mean, with Apple coming out and apologizing for the Mac Pro, maybe they tease it at the end and they're like, "It's coming. this year, and then they show like they. Did
I mean, they said it's. Did they say it's coming this year?
No,
they said it's coming next
year.
Oh,
you're right.
It's coming next year, so I don't think they're going to tease it that early.
But in Lance's piece, he also said that they're doing new iMacs this year. Man, this September event is going to be nuts. I'm just thinking about that now.
Think about it. They're going to probably host it at the new Apple Park Steve Jobs Theater, so there will be plenty of space for them to have all that shit there.
True.
So, what else from? Let's talk software.
Okay, let's talk software.
Mac OS. What do you want to see there? Let's go to iOS first.
Let's go to iOS first.
I want to see dark mode. That's it. System-wide dark mode.
That's all you care about?
I mean, I care about that. That's mainly all I want, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know how they could improve on iOS.
I think what Google's done in Android O for the notifications, like you can press here and it'll like put up a modal. Like you see how you have, if you have a notification and you have a badge, you know that there's something waiting for you within that app. On the new version of Android, you can press and hold. I think they don't have
notification dots.
Right, the notification dot. You can press and hold it, and then it like kind of pops up a little modal. They're called with the notification. Right. iOS doesn't have that.
Right.
I still think iOS.
They could easily do that.
I think they could. I think
3D
that would be
touch,
really cool.
right?
Yeah, force touch it,
like
or
that,
just like
right.
press and hold.
Right.
That would be a little bit confusing because a lot of people still have problems between pressing
right.
and holding and then force touching. I would like to see landscape orientation system-wide. There's no reason that I know no one ever uses the landscape keyboard because it's garbage, but there's no reason why I can't turn my phone sideways, and I have 7. Why can't I go?
You can do that on the
Plus.
You can do that on the Plus.
I know.
But nobody does that.
No one does that.
No
one that has a Plus. If you use an iPhone 7 Plus, let me know. And does Android do, on any Android devices, can you go landscape on the home screen? I don't think so. So that's one thing I'd like to see. I'd like to see notifications refreshed. And I'm really liking the sidebar here. I swipe over the widgets area. Apple finally has widgets.
They've had widgets for a while.
Right, but they've actually finally, like, you can go over and like glance at the weather. Right. I use the Shazam widget a lot.
Really?
I do. I do. Frankly, I do. I like discovering new music with Shazam.
If you have Shazam installed, you could just use Siri to
I know. But I
same thing.
For me, I like, and because you can do it from the lock screen too, which is nice.
That's true.
I would like to see Apple get rid of this app grid.
So you want more like Android, so you can customize it however you want?
I just feel like they've got to let this grid go already. Like I feel like the conversions of Mac OS and iOS is definitely happening right before our eyes. And
so if not the grid, what's going to happen? It's going to be an app drawer just like Android?
Nah, just the
widgets ability, on your home screen?
The ability to not have them all pinned in that way that it's just like boop, 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 boop. Like that is kind of outdated, I think. And all iPhones look the same, you know, and you know, Apple kind of is about that conformity, I would say. But I just kind of like, though, how we don't really know anything. We're just like shooting for the stars here. Like, I wish I could have this, or wish I could have this. And then also 3-way FaceTime. How the hell do we not have the ability to do 3-way FaceTime? And
I think that was rumored.
That has been rumored. I just feel like they can build out FaceTime. Also, LOL at FaceTime being open source. They literally said that when FaceTime rolled out the iPhone 4. They were like, it's going to be open source. No. They could do a lot more with FaceTime.
For sure.
They can put, like, we have, photo booth right on here? And they've had filters forever, ages, right? You can do, like, the swirl. And, like, they should put that stuff on FaceTime. They can make FaceTime a lot more fun, and they can eat into the Snapchat and Instagram market share of these kids going in and taking pictures, right? Like, they should...
Okay, but, like, the camera app has, like, those little filters. Do you ever use them?
I don't use those color ones. I just think that Apple needs to be thinking more personally, like look at what the trends are right now, and kind of adhere to those.
I want to see something like very similar to Google Lens, where it's, you know, providing actual useful information when you're using the camera.
Sure.
I think we're going to see an upgrade to like the Photos app.
I hope so. I hope they wow us with that kind of stuff, because Google Photos is killing it right now. They have.
If I see like fucking stories. Oh shit. Is this PG-13?
The rated X version.
If I see a stories feature inside of photos,
God.
I'm gonna blah.
They're not gonna do stories. There's no way. But imagine
Skype has it now, dude. Skype has it.
I saw that the other day. They have stories.
It's called the highlights.
Oh man, the storification of everything is happening. And last thing I'd like
There's
to see.
a rant on that coming soon.
The last thing I'd like to see in iOS is 24 frames per second video recording. How do we have this
Filmic
camera?
Pro.
Right, but why isn't it built into the operating system? You can shoot at 720 slow-mo, right? You could do 240 or 120. You could shoot 4K 30, and you can shoot 2430. Why can't you shoot at 24 frames a second?
Because Apple doesn't let you set those.
I will never understand. It'll be 11 years of this operating system being out.
Okay.
Just why? It's not that hard. I don't think it'll be too confusing for users. And I will make the argument that you can shoot at multiple modes right now. You can't change the frame rate at all, but you can do, well, you can between 120 and 240. I would love to see Apple build out because this camera is great and underrated. The photos, like when you go in and edit a photo and like change, like you go into the thing and you drag all the sliders built into iOS, that editor is great. I would love to see that. Just Apple should please just 24 frames a second. That's all I'm asking for. Anything else would be a bonus. And really, it just, again, it feels like we don't know anything about iOS 11. There's a couple of rumors.
Health features, probably beefed up health features.
Stuff, which I don't really use that much. I never check my steps. I never check any of that stuff. Mac OS.
Okay.
What do they have? The Continuum? No, that's Windows.
Continuity.
Continuity.
Or handoff.
Handoff, whatever it's called.
I don't use any of those features.
Me neither. I can't really remember the last time I copied something on my computer and I pasted it on my phone. It's very cool that it exists.
Yeah.
I don't really use it that much. Honestly, Ray, I'm pretty happy with the way the Mac OS functions right now. I don't have any big complaints, really, at all.
There is one thing I want, and I want it back. And that is the percentage bar on the battery. What?
I know.
I mean, not the percentage bar, but like how many hours.
I know. The time remaining.
Yeah, the time remaining. That's the only reason I haven't updated my MacBook Pro at home to the newest version.
Yeah,
because
so
I need that.
If you're on, what is this? What are we on? Sierra? Is this Sierra?
I think so, yeah.
I don't even remember what the latest version is. Here we're talking about WWDC rumors. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, I'm on Yosemite.
You're on Yosemite?
We're on Sierra. Sierra is the newest version.
Sierra's yeah. So I actually, you know what's funny is I feel like in the back of my head I knew that was missing, but now that you said it,
bring that back.
Yeah, like the time remaining. You can see percentage.
Like they got into that whole MacBook Pro battery issue, and they were like, you know what? We're just going to erase it. We're going to delete it.
That's right.
Right. So they removed it, and they're like, you don't need it. You don't need it. It wasn't accurate anyway.
So fun fact, on my iPhone, I turned off battery percentage.
Okay.
All I have is just the little indicator.
Why?
Because I like living a stress-free life. I don't like to know that my phone's already at 70% at 11:30 in the morning. I like to just, it's white and then it's red. That's what it is. So when it gets down to the red, I'm like, all right, I got to charge. But when you're at 30 or 50, it's kind of arbitrary. Like you see the bar kind of dropping out a little bit. But shout out if you don't have the percentage on your phone. I haven't done that. I haven't had the percentage on my iPhone in like 3 or 4 years. And I've talked to some people who have turned it off, and they say it's much better.
Okay, maybe I'll try that.
So I think, yeah, to see that battery percentage thing come back, that would be great.
Get rid of Siri. I don't want that on my Mac.
I never use Siri on my Mac.
Get rid of that.
Ever. I turn on Do Not Disturb. Having Do Not Disturb is great. But really, it feels like I don't really have any complaints about the OS. Spaces works great. Like all of this, they changed it a little bit from Snow Leopard. I was very used to the way they handled it. Like you swipe up and it's a little bit different. Whatever.
Something tells me they're gonna do some kind of stupid gestures. Because, you know, the new
trackpad
MacBook Pro is so huge, they're going to do something with it. I think they're going to do something with it. Probably some more powerful, like, Finder features. Photos app update again.
Probably.
I don't even use it on my Mac.
Me neither. I still, like, I'll take pictures and video on this, and then I'll back it up, like, a hard backup onto a hard drive. I don't use photos. auto store anything in the cloud. I know I can. I know it's a great solution. I know Google Photos is the thing, but I like knowing that I can like click on a folder that's like iPhone backup. Like I just backed up everything on here from the day I got the iPhone until right now, and I just know that all that stuff is in a folder on a hard drive.
Okay.
Versus like, and I use, just pro tip, use image capture. There is an app built into the Mac called Image Capture, and you can plug in your phone or any camera, and you can just easily back up your pictures and video. It's great. Now, tvOS and watchOS, I don't wear my Apple Watch anymore. You still wear your Apple Watch anymore? Do you?
I still wear it.
Is it, how is it, Ray?
It's still a very expensive notification device.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Honestly, I have not touched a third-party app in ages. Even though it got faster.
Let me browse Instagram on my watch.
Even though it got, yeah, you can see 5 posts. Even though, like, you know, they made it faster to load apps with the little dock or whatever it's called in watchOS 3.
Oh, that's right.
I still don't use apps, and I think that that's a big problem.
You get a text, you glance at your watch, and you're like, oh, I'm going to pull out my phone and answer it, or you're just going to dismiss it. That's literally it. When your phone is in your pocket, it is a great conduit. So you don't have to pull it out and disturb. You don't have to do that gesture. You do that gesture. I wore the Apple Watch for a while too, and I completely agree. It is a glorified notification device. It doesn't do anything. I mean, the health stuff is cool.
If you get a lot of notifications like I do, then you know it might be worth it. But if you're a casual user, probably not.
I think it's a beeper. It is the Apple beeper. Really.
It's a beeper.
It's like you glance at it and you're like, oh. I gotta go. That's kind of it.
Do you guys even know what a beeper is?
Michelle's laughing over here. And then I guess
you guys weren't born yet.
I guess tvOS. I don't really use my Apple TV that much.
We'll probably hear more about the services and like content that they're working on.
Yep.
Apple Music.
Look.
Videos,
Apple,
more video in Apple Music.
Apple is. They've got their feet planted in Hollywood right now. They're who was it that Eddie Q just announced the launch date for Apple's Carpool Karaoke.
I honestly don't care.
You don't care about that. What I think, no,
I mean, they're funny.
No, not like I just think that Apple is diving headfirst into the content game, and we could see Apple the same way you have YouTube TV and the same way you have all these services. It wouldn't surprise me if, like, in a year or two, Apple's like, we did it. We finally did it. You've got an iCloud account. You've got a Apple Music service. Boom.
But they still suck at content.
That's true. That's true. So they would need a whole bunch of, and they already kind of do. Like when you go on the Apple TV, they've got support for a lot of the.
Sure. The big one is supposed to be Amazon. Amazon Instant Videos or Amazon Videos are finally coming to Apple TV.
Oh, so if you have an Amazon Prime account, and you watch videos, like there's a lot of shows on Amazon.
I don't know,
Prime,
man.
right?
I've been looking at like all the different like TV platforms.
I don't watch any of this stuff, so you're the expert.
I've been
here.
looking at the TV platforms, and I just saw this new like the new Fire TV.
Yep.
The new Fire TV has a new update, puts all the content first. You can use Alexa to find all your content instead of just navigating between apps. And I think on the TV, people care more about the content, less about what app it's on.
Sure.
Okay, so
that's right.
If I want to like watch Game of Thrones or whatever,
you don't give a damn how you get it. You just want to watch
Show me Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Okay, or whatever it is, sports or whatever. Just show me the content. So if they update tvOS, I think it's going to be with that.
They're going to just kind of keep drilling down into what the user wants.
Yeah.
I would say. I think that's it, right? I don't.
We didn't really talk about this rumored like iPad Pro.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm still not sure if that's going to happen.
The 10.5-inch iPad Pro. So right now there's a 9.7-inch iPad Pro and a 12.9-inch.
Yeah.
It's huge. If you haven't seen the gigantic iPad Pro in person, just go to the Apple Store and hold it. It is humongous.
Yeah.
You're right. So they
I don't know what's going to happen.
They might kind of just like right between those two screen sizes, 10.5-inch iPad Pro. I mean, didn't they just rebrand the iPad Air is now the iPad? They don't sell the. Let me just double check
iPad Air 2, is iPad.
So iPad, right? You click on iPad. There's iPad Pro, and then under iPad it says new, and then iPad Mini 4.
Here's what I think. What do you think? I think we're gonna look. Developers are gonna dive into the code. They're gonna find out like new resolutions and stuff, and then they're gonna extrapolate. Exactly. They're gonna extrapolate. and they're going to figure it out.
It's
that
like
there's
iPad
a new
7,3, and it's like,
and they'll figure it out. You know, I don't think Apple will announce it. It'll be a little weird to announce a new iPad here.
And they did a soft refresh. They didn't even have an event for that, right?
Right.
So okay, so let's do a quick recap of everything we've talked about here, and then Michelle, I want to see the poll, and then I'm going to pull up the stream on my computer so we can address the comments. So rumored hardware, top of the list as most likely to happen based on just pure speculation and rumors. Siri speaker, some sort of hardware device that'll hopefully run a recreated Siri because Siri needs work. And it'll hopefully have a touchscreen. We have no idea how much it's going to cost. Ray thinks $250, $200, $250.
I'm going to do $249.
I'm going to $249. I'm going to go $299. Then next on the list, MacBook, single port MacBook, the nice, small, tiny one that is way underpowered and overpriced. Hopefully we'll see a refresh of that. I would love to see, it'd be killer for them to get that thing under $999. It'll be underpowered if it's under $990, if it's at $999. And then that kind of leaves the air at a weird place. And then the third thing, probably see the Kaby Lake processors go inside the MacBook Pros. And then, I mean, Apple's probably going to address them because people aren't too happy with them, I would say. And then 32 gigs of RAM, those two things in the new MacBook Pros. And then I would say, then that computer's like, okay, then yeah. And then with all of the operating systems, again, usually things leak. But this year feels like we're so left in the dark, and it is so refreshing because every year, like I said in the beginning of the show, it's usually 9 to 5 Mac. It'll probably be Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal or New York Times. Will come out like on Sunday and be like, blah, blah, blah's coming. This year feels like we don't know anything.
That's great. I think so.
We'd like to see, Ray would love to see a full system-wide dark mode. I would like to see...
Dark mode on Mac OS too. Why not?
Dark mode on Mac OS too. Why not? Yeah. Hell yeah. I would like to see 24 FPS video recording. Probably never happen. I'm just going to keep shooting for the stars. And then work on the notifications a little bit. I think they're still a little bit obtrusive. Home screen oriented, like system-wide landscape orientation, and then, like I said, the FaceTime, and just like kind of beef up the camera and those kind of features. And then, yeah, we really don't know what's going to be with macOS. We don't know what it's going to be called, what other spot in California they're going to name it after, what kind of sick backgrounds they're going to have. I'm pumped for that. I'm going to install the beta again, and then tvOS and watchOS, we're totally left in the dark, so we'll let Apple tell us what's good. Michelle, let's bring up the whatchamacallit, the poll. So no, 67% of you say no. More handicap accessible for applications for iPhone. Johnny Jones, hello, thanks for watching. Sarvesh, thanks for joining. Brentley, hello. Scott, Yair, Tommy, and Michelle, and Ray. We're just watching your scope replays. Thanks, Tommy. So install iOS 11 beta. 67% of you say no, 33%. Well, you know what? I'm going to vote yes right now. I'm going to change that. I'm going to boost that right now. Did that work live? Nope, it didn't change anything because... Oh, it did. 43%. So I've tipped the scale.
This guy's rigging the...
I've tipped the scale a little bit. But that's it, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, from me and Ray here at Mashable. WWDC happens on Monday at 10 a.m. California time. 1 p.m.
Eastern time. 1 p.m. Eastern time.
1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be there covering Mashable.com. Snapchat, Periscope, Instagram, you name it. We'll have coverage. And we're pumped. You pumped?
I'm pumped.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next week. Thanks for joining, Ray.
Peace.